We've all been there. A website that times out during a submission, a line that wraps around the block before the doors even open. When these systems fail, they erode the basic trust between a citizen and their government. Government administrators see the same struggle, but with tight budgets and limited time, they face a recurring dilemma. Which specific fire should they put out first? Deciding whether to fix a server, hire more staff, or scrap a process entirely often feels like guesswork. These failures rarely stem from a lack of effort. The real roadblock is the absence of a rigorous framework to separate the root causes of a failure from its surface-level symptoms. The Norma Técnica para la Gestión de la Calidad de Servicios provides that missing framework. Issued by the Secretariat of Public Management, it serves as a mandatory protocol for ministries and local governments to systematically evaluate and improve their output. Rather than handing out quick fixes, this standard acts as a clinical tool to dissect and rebuild the mechanics of public service delivery. As this official flowchart shows, the methodology follows two strict sequential phases. The process begins with an evaluation of the current state, which then informs the actual implementation of improvements. By requiring agencies to follow this structured method, the state guarantees that modernization efforts are backed by objective, verifiable data. Phase 1 begins with triage. To determine where to start, the highest administrative authority within an entity relies on raw data rather than intuition to select a service for analysis. Agencies must evaluate their operations using at least 3 of 7 official criteria, metrics like citizen satisfaction, the volume of accepted complaints, and budget allocation. The service returning the lowest combined score across these metrics is sent to the operating table. This data-driven selection ensures the team targets the most critical point of failure first. To conduct the analysis, the entity forms an evaluation team. This task force pairs a modernization expert with the frontline specialists who process the paperwork or deliver the materials on the ground. This team operates under the Principio de la Primacía de la Realidad. They base their diagnosis on how the service actually functions in the field, overriding any claims made by official administrative paperwork. With the target service isolated, the team begins the clinical test, a standardized evaluation questionnaire. The team uses the questionnaire to map the service against the outer components of this conceptual model of modernization. As the evaluation tracks inward, objective evidence generates scores that measure the direct impact on the people the service is meant to reach. Any gap between the real score obtained and the ideal maximum score is identified as an opportunity for improvement. At this point, the exact operational flaw has been isolated and quantified. The diagnosis is complete, and the service is ready for targeted intervention. This triggers the second phase, the improvement of goods and services. The responsible unit is now tasked with engineering a specific cure. The standard mandates are root cause analysis for every identified gap. This forces the agency to solve the underlying disease, like an outdated database architecture, rather than masking the symptom with another temporary fix. Proposed actions then run through a viability filter. Every solution is weighed against technical feasibility, available budget, and timeline constraints before it earns a place on the implementation schedule. Finally, the agency deploys this finalized schedule. Whether redesigning an online portal or reallocating medical supplies, the improvements are applied meticulously at the point of contact with the citizen. This protocol transforms modernization from a general goal into an engineered, budgeted, and scheduled reality. After the upgrades are installed, the work continues. The Norma Técnica requires continuous tracking to mathematically prove that the implementation actually solved the problem. This creates a permanent cycle of continuous improvement. It shifts the institution from reacting to emergencies to proactively optimizing its output every year. These assessments and matrices exist to achieve one overarching result: the generation of valor público, or public value. Public value is a seamless transaction. It's a modern service that reaches a citizen in a remote region, bridges an accessibility gap, and demonstrates that the state can meet its obligations. The rigid guidelines of the Norma Técnica provide the scientific algorithm required to guarantee that public resources finally translate into tangible human well-being.